Hello, I'm Resi from Lowell Observatory and welcome back to the Mars Hill Almanac. Today we're going to look at tonight's sky from here in Flagstaff, Arizona, and take a look at some of the constellations and deep sky objects in the northern sky. Let's go ahead and get started with the sun. The sun is going to set tonight here in Flagstaff, Arizona at 7:24 p.m. There's still not very much solar activity to look at on the sun because we are in that solar minimum period of the 11-year solar cycle. The moon rises here in Flagstaff at about 2:45 a.m. in its waning crescent phase. Venus is in the sky shortly after sunset in its crescent phase, though it does set very early into the evening. It will be setting earlier and earlier every day this week. Those morning planets, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars, begin to rise at about midnight tonight, though they will be rising earlier and earlier every night. Jupiter and Saturn both entered retrograde motion earlier this week as we, here on Earth, passed them in their orbit. Jupiter and Saturn will be having an eclipse on May 18th, which is when they will look very close to one another in the sky before moving apart and then coming back together for the Great Conjunction on December 21st, 2020. Now there are a few things that we can talk about in terms of what's up in the northern sky, but I feel that the best place to start is talking about how to find north in the first place. So, to find north, you're going to find the Big Dipper. You can see the Big Dipper right here. Most people are familiar with it, but I'll go ahead and highlight those stars anyway. Now, taking the last two stars that make up the ladle of the Big Dipper, if you draw a line between those stars and continue that line onward, right here, you will see the North Star. A good target for any naked eye or binocular observers is Mizar and Alcor here in Ursa Major, the Great Bear, inside what we call the Big Dipper, that asterism. Right here where the handle bends, you will see one star. However, if you look a little bit closer, you can see two. Mizar and Alcor are a binary system, probably. We're not actually entirely sure. They're about 1 light year away from one another, and it's difficult to tell if they're just very close neighbors or if they're a true binary system, which means that they would be orbiting around one another. And now, for those of you interested in a deep sky challenge tonight, we're going to try to take a look at some galaxies. Specifically, in that northern sky, we're going to try to see the Pinwheel and the Whirlpool galaxies. Let's go ahead and start with the Whirlpool galaxy, since I tend to find it is the easier of the two targets to spot. You're going to return to the Big Dipper, that asterism inside Ursa Major, and at the very end of the Big Dipper, that star is Alkaid, and just west of Alkaid, you should be able to spot the Whirlpool galaxy. Now, if you're looking at the Whirlpool tonight, it may be very, very difficult since that moonlight is so bright. However, if you look a little bit later in the week, early in the night before the moon rises, you can use your averted vision, which means looking around that galaxy instead of directly at it, to see some shape and distinction inside those galaxy lanes. You can actually see the Whirlpool galaxy's spiral arms through a telescope on a dark night. If you were able to find the Whirlpool galaxy, the Pinwheel galaxy is in the same region, but is a little bit more challenging. Returning to the Big Dipper, you're going to find Alkaid, that star at the end, and then the next star in the Big Dipper, which is Mizar. Drawing a line between Alkaid and Mizar, you're going to kind of extend that line into a triangle east of those two stars, and between them, to the east, is the Pinwheel galaxy. We want to hear from you. Last week, we asked about your experiences observing the planets. This week, we want to hear about your experiences observing galaxies. Have you seen galaxies through a telescope? Have you managed to see Andromeda with the naked eye? If you've never seen another galaxy, That's fine. We live in a big galaxy ourselves, and so if you have any experiences observing the Milky Way up in the night sky, we'd like to hear about that as well. Just like last week, if you go ahead and tell us about your experiences in the comments, we will pick our favorite one and share it next week. Until then, my name is Rezi, and I look forward to sharing the night sky with you again 1 week from today.